All right, guys, welcome in. This is February's edition of Behind the Beat, and I didn't really have any new songs to promote this month as far as like things that just came out. So I ended up kind of backtracking to a release I did last summer with the label True School Records, and I put out an EP called Working Class. And the whole concept behind the EP is, just kind of gritty hip hop that kind of represents like the working class people of America specifically, but I guess kind of around the world too. So it was more like put together some gritty beats and kind of make something. And originally, I wanted to have my collaborator Strappa, who I've obviously worked on some songs with. I wanted to have him, involved in this EP, but I ended up kind of switching the direction of it from what it initially was going to be, and we ended up doing it this way instead. And all the songs that I did with Strappa, they all the ones that came out last year, they were initially going to be for this EP, but like I said, I kind of course corrected, changed the theme of it, and then I ended up sending the tracks I picked out to True School, and they were open to releasing it, and it was a very successful release, and very proud of being able to do that. So I wanted to go back to that release, break down the song called Intuition, which is one of my favorites from the project, and just kind of give you guys a little bit of a breakdown for it. So it kind of all started with this kind of a very, like I mentioned, gritty sounds, what I was going for. This sample here in general is very gritty. It has some pianos, it has some guitars kind of mixed in, but the way that I ended up EQing it, it ended up sounding even more muddy, which I loved. So I'll play you guys that first and just what I ended up arranging out of the original version of this sample. And that also has a nice bass tone to it as well, which I love a lot. Um, so that was, I heard that initially and I was like, yes, I'm going to make this, like you see, it's 82 BPM. I'm going to kind of slow it down a bit and I'm going to add some New York type drums to it. I initially thought of New York style hip hop when I heard that part. So next was, finding those drums that were going to match that style. And obviously, big fan of breaks on any type of old school hip hop joint. And I think the break I found for this, call them era drums, but I think these ones fit absolutely perfectly. So let's hear those. And I kind of gave it a little bit of variation here toward the end of that full 8 bars as well. So that's, again, very standard, very classic hip hop, boom bap, that sort of thing. And it instantly just reminded me, like I said, of East Coast hip hop. But then I kind of wanted to start putting my own flavor and sound on it. And obviously, the layering that I do is a big part of that. So, this synth that ends up being on part of the pre chorus and the main chorus part is probably my favorite element. And all I did was flip the original version of it. And I think I reversed it and then just pitched it down, kind of match this initial sample that I put in first. So let's hear that by itself. I just love the vibe that that created, and I just felt like it was super um, emotionally charged, and it kind of just adds to those elements from before. And then obviously, I had to pull out pigments like I usually do to add in an extra layer. And this one is more of a vocal pad. Let me see what this one's called. This one is the Simple Choir. So yeah, it's definitely a vocal pad. It looks like I didn't adjust any of the attack or any. Well, I guess I adjusted the attack here and here, but I kept a little bit of sustain there just to kind of keep its initial sound. I think what I like to do in Pigments the most is just find sounds that are already great and not really tweak them a ton other than adding reverb and things like that. So I added a little bit of reverb. I don't think I EQ'd this at all. Doesn't look like I EQ'd it. So all I did was add a little bit of reverb and kind of kept it the same and then just kind of played exactly what I felt based on what key it was in. So let me pull this up. All right, so let's hear that by itself. Like I said, that's definitely one of my favorite sounds in Pigments. And I've kind of plugged Pigments before, but if you haven't checked it out, it's by a company named Arturia, and it's one of my favorite plugins. I don't use a lot of plugins. Usually I'm using Splice and pulling from YouTube samples and getting drum breaks from other places. But when I do use plugins, I tend to use ones that have a lot of capabilities. And Pigments has just always fit right in with the style that I have. And even if you don't make hip hop, even if you make EDM or any other genre, really, it has a lot of different options. And I use it primarily for those layers, for those extra layers on like the choruses and things like that. So, they're not paying me to say this, but definitely check out Pigments. And I don't even know if I have the like newest update, but Pigments is always great. So that's pretty much it. Very, very to the point, as always. 4 sounds in this thing. And let's hear it all together. If I can pull it right there. Yeah, there we go. Also, it's worth mentioning that the only other thing I added was a classic low pass filter right after that first hook is done. So let me play that real quick as well for you guys. You can kind of hear it just muffles it up, nothing crazy. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I could play the rest, but you kind of get the idea. This song is 2.5 minutes almost. And yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Working Class, kind of the idea behind the EP was just gritty hip hop, boom bap style. And I thought this one was really cool. So it fit very well with the other 4 tracks. And I want to say once again, shout out to True School Records for partnering with me on that release and all the other releases we've done. I've been on like 2 or 3 of their compilations at this point. I've done a couple other singles as well, and I'm looking forward to continuing working with them. Hopefully more this year. I haven't sent them anything just yet, but I'm trying to get some things in order to hopefully do some more releases with them, and hopefully if they have more compilations coming up, I can send some songs in for consideration for those as well. But I will leave the link in the description of the video so you guys can listen to the EP as well. If you haven't already, it came out, I think, in August of 2025. So it's been out for, 7 or 8 months at this point. But I know I put out a lot of music last year, so you might be trying to catch up still. And, if you're into boom bap beats, it's definitely going to be one that you want to take a look at. But next month, I don't know. Again, I don't know what I'm going to be breaking down. I hopefully won't be backtracking on other stuff, but it is good to go back on older releases sometimes. I know in April is when things are going to start really picking up for the new music for me. I got a single coming out at that time, and I have an album with Cessflow also coming out that's scheduled to release. So there's going to be a lot of different things that I could possibly talk about over the next few months. But once it hits the summertime, I think I'm going to be rolling in a lot of that new music. But as always, thank you guys for checking this one out. Go check out Working Class, go check out Intuition, and we'll see you in the month of March with another beat breakdown. Till then, take care, everyone.